Yes? No sound? Oh dear.
Yeah, we've got your voice on YouTube for last minute.
In terms of funding and balance of books. So I'm hoping that it'll be minimal impact on public services and policing, but we will have to wait that post COVID-19. I will, if I'm in this job, continue to make sure that I maximise funding for policing and community safety work from the Ministry of Justice and continue to deliver on the priorities I think are the ones I have heard the people of Derby tell me about, and I have taken action in partnership with the Chief Constable and victim support organisations. This has been reflected in the fact that we have Operation Derbyshire, which I hope everybody has been made aware of and seen through social media and in their local neighbourhoods. And that is about delivering on what has been given as a priority by the people of Derbyshire: road safety and speeding, antisocial behaviour and improved visibility for reassurance, increase in numbers, and making sure that rural communities are looked after with one of the largest rural crime teams in the country that I've set up, and that vulnerability is tackled wherever it exists. Chair, that's just looking over the whole period. I'm happy to receive comments and questions, and the rest of the detail is in the actual report.
Many thanks, Hardiel. That's quite comprehensive summary for us. We appreciate that. I think Councillor John Flood first for questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Good morning, Hardiel. Yeah, on 4.2 of the report, it refers to ASB, and it says priority will be given to activity around ASB. I'd just like to clarify, then does that mean that ASB has actually gone up during COVID?
Right. I mean, I think...
am I assuming that?
Yeah, okay. In the records, antisocial behaviour has gone up, and it's gone up by 57%. But looking at it in more detail, that is related to the fact that all the incidences and reporting of COVID-19 cannot be recorded anywhere else as a crime, and it has been recorded as antisocial behavior. So when you look at antisocial behavior over the last 5, 6, 7 years, there's been a gradual reduction in antisocial behavior reporting to the police and other partners. And that trend continues if you take out all the COVID-19 related antisocial behavior. So in that sense, antisocial behavior is going down. The response on COVID-19 has been logged in there and showing an increase. But even if antisocial behavior generally is going down, I'm of the opinion that we do need to tackle that at local level, because it's one of the things that during my hashtag D383 tour, people have shared with me that antisocial behavior and low-level crime, which doesn't get prioritized through the 999 system, needs to be responded to. And therefore, under Operation Derbyshire, we are increasing our numbers in our safer neighbourhood teams. We are training them to actually problem solve and work with other partners to tackle antisocial behaviour and other criminal crimes which are at a lower end and lower priority for the resourcing of 999. So, that is really important, even though generally antisocial behaviour is going down. That's still too much what exists, and we need to tackle that, and we can do that in partnership and through problem solving.
Could it just come back here?
Yes.
Absolutely, John.
Yeah, so are we saying then that the flouting of COVID rules, people having parties, even not socially distancing properly, is all lumped in with ASB? Or are we saying that?
That's the only place that can be recorded. In terms of
ASB is having a lot piled on top of it. Yes. Yeah. I understand that. Yeah. Thanks very much, Hardle. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We've got a list of people wanting to ask questions. Mick, is yours a follow-on to that question, or are you happy to be at the end of the list for questions?
It's relating to the same minute number, 4.2. But
okay, if you want to go ahead then, Mick, I'm sure Robert won't mind.
Okay, thank you. 4.2 again, where it's stating a focus on speeding. As you're aware, I made requests for speeding action to be taken in my ward. I'm just curious how you're going to focus on it, because as soon as you know where these speeding cameras are, these mobile speeding cameras, the force actually advertises it, which seems to me a bit contradictory. I'm wondering if you can explain why the force is advertising something when we're trying to focus on speeding.
Yeah, thank you, Mick, for that. I think unfortunately the law on entrapment dictates that any enforcement has to be made public and aware, so that if you remember about 8-9 years ago, maybe 7-8 years ago, when CCTV cameras and speeding became quite proliferate, there was a backlash from the communities, and they said that it was just a cash-making device, and then there was a retraction in terms of number of CCTV cameras, but also about not entrapping people, but trying to alert them to stop their behavior. So unfortunately, Mick, that is part of what the police have to do, because that's what the law says. However, in that, and that doesn't mean sort of, that is to actually make people aware, firstly, that you will be penalized for breaking the law, but the law says that we cannot do it through hidden cameras or through a sort of more covert way, which is, I think, what you're intending. Because I do agree with you, that will actually catch people who are breaking the law in a much more effective way, but the law doesn't allow us to do that. So we have to use the methods which are community speed watch to deter people from, make them aware that they should be careful, giving safety advice. And then if there are hotspots, enforced through our police officers doing the enforcement through their more immediate powers. So unfortunately, Mick, that is something we can't get around because it's the legislation.
I can understand. Thanks for that answer anyway, Idle. But I can understand that. But I don't know how we can focus on it if we're putting all resources into it, and it's not going to be effective. Is it throwing good resources after bad? And I can understand what you're saying. I can understand about know about the law regarding the notification, but there's been handheld speed traps. What hasn't been notified or made public as a one-off, I presume. And a speed van is quite. You can see it anyway. It's just like seeing a speed camera outside the road. I mean, if that's the case, I want to know in advance when them speed cameras are loaded with and being active. I don't know. It just seems weird that we're trying to focus on something, and which the panel agreed to your budget, so we can do this Operation Derbyshire. And I don't know. I just can't get my head around that we're trying to do something and something positive, and it's being pre-warned. I can accept your answer, but I don't know if there's other ways we can look at it, so it is actually going to be effective.
Yeah, I mean, just to say, Mick, it is effective. There's been positive feedback from public. There are people still being caught and penalised, even through the visible crest vans and through the enforcement and through the community speed watch. So it is working, but I do understand what you're saying, that it could be more impactful. But I think there's two elements of this. One is about educating and making the public aware, and to say that they should not flout the rules and regulations. And the second is actually sort of enforcing it. Both are happening. And maybe, from your perspective, you're saying we could do it more, but it is making a difference. There's some very positive feedback coming back to the roads policing unit and to our neighbourhood, safer neighbourhood teams, who are encouraging more and more people to join the community speed watch volunteer training, and then going out and doing that, hopefully, when the lockdown has been relaxed.
Lovely, thanks for that. As I say, it's just my thoughts. So thank you, and thank you, Chair, for letting me.
Thanks, Mick. Faye, you've put your hand up. Is it in relation to this question, or can I go back to Robert now?
No, it's in relation to another issue. Yeah.
Okay. Can you wait for Rob and then Jed and then you?
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay, Robert.
Right. Yeah. Thanks for the report, Hardiel. Derbyshire Constabulary clearly have been doing a cracking job over the last year, and should be congratulated on their continued high level of performance. I've got a question about COVID enforcement. In paragraph 223 of your report, you give precise figures for the number of fixed penalty notices issued, but there are no figures mentioned in paragraph 225 in relation to the number of inappropriate fixed penalties which have been withdrawn. Is there a reason for that, and do you have the figures, please?
Yeah. Thank you, Rob. Yes, I mean, there are figures. There's no reason why it's not in here. We can get them. They are small in number. We can get that for you. I haven't got them at hand at the moment. If you do want them, they can be made available for you. They are very small in number, and what I want to highlight there is that there is a process, because in this situation, with legislation changing so frequently and then police having to act so quickly after that public statement and legislation, there's always room for error on individual cases as they understand and try to interpret the rules and regulations. So we have a process in place where every enforcement is reviewed to see whether due process was followed. So there's a built-in mechanism to sort of rescind any that have been done inappropriately. So, and that does work, and the numbers are quite small. For example, when the two famous ladies in South Derbyshire, Foremark Reservoir, got their PR credentials in terms of getting the national media on that, that was reviewed through that process and rescinded. And that period, I think everything in this lockdown was looked at and reviewed, and I think there was about 15 that were rescinded in that period. But you may want to know the whole period of the 12 months. I don't have that at hand, and if you do want that, we can make sure that's made available to you.
Yes, I would like those figures, please, Hardiel. I mean, I fully appreciate that there has been a process which is excellent, and I have no doubt that those mistakes which have been made are mainly down to the confusion between legislation and guidance, which isn't legislation. And it's confusing everybody. It's bound to confuse our officers as well.
Yeah.
But thank you for your reply.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. It was going to be Jed next, but he's having trouble with his internet connection. So, Faye, are you able to step in with your question now, please?
Yes, thanks, Chair. Good morning, Hardiel.
Good morning.
Thanks for the report. It's great. I just wanted to comment on 2.17, the resourcing, that it's commendable how the constabularies managed to continue to work despite the COVID cases, and they've still managed to respond to an increase in the workload because of the pandemic. I just wanted, if possible, some clarification on numbers. If you could tell us how many police officers there were when you started your term and how many we have now.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think at the start of my term, there was just under 1,700 police officers. And now, with every budget I've set, and we are now at just over 1,900.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's been the increase in police officer numbers. Of course, on top of that, there has been an increase in police staff numbers as well.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Faye. I don't know if Jed's back in yet. Jed, are you with us yet? No, it doesn't look like Jed's managed to get back in. He's got internet problems today, Hardiel. I'll open it out then to the floor. Are there any other questions that we want to ask of Hardiel at the minute? No, it doesn't look like there are, Hardiel. Thank you very much for that report and for answering our questions. I think that's been really comprehensive, and we'd also like to thank the Chief Constable for her contributions to that, because I know that obviously you've worked very closely with her in producing that report, haven't you? So
yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next agenda item is announcements from yourself, Hardiel, from Police and Crime Commissioner. Is there anything you want to flag with us at this point, please?
Okay. The only thing I think is worth saying is that I think everybody's aware of it, that there are now elections for the Police and Crime Commissioner and other local authority elections on the 6th of May. I'm standing as a candidate, and I hope to be successful, but politics is a fickle business, and you never know the outcome of the will of the people. So if I'm not here next year, it's been really great working with the Police and Crime panel and you as chair, Vicky, and the constructive way we have got into a system of understanding policy and then challenging and asking questions about how it's being delivered through myself directly and the Chief Constable. So I've really enjoyed working here. If I am successful, I will look forward to be here again and continue to work in a speedy way and efficient way, and sort of use this forum to help protect people and fight crime in Derbyshire. So thank you very much. That's the only announcement I think I want to make.
Thank you very much, Hardle. Got a question from Becky, Councillor Becky Woods. Becky?
Yeah.
Hi, Hardle. You okay?
Hello. Hi, Becky.
Hi. I'm always a bit hesitant because my microphone is very hit and miss. I've got a couple of questions, if that's okay, please. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate you on the improvements you've made to the rural crime team. Please, could you tell me how it compares with the teams in other areas, say North Yorkshire, for example?
Yeah.
And the second question, is that okay?
Yeah.
At the last meeting, we spoke about the building of a hub in Chapel in High Peak. Please, could you give us an update on where you're up with that as well, please?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Becky. Right. On the first one, the rural crime team, I have to say, where we are, and I'm really proud that we have now got one of the largest rural crime and wildlife crime teams in the country. The one that's always compared with is North Yorkshire, which has been cited as the largest rural crime team in the country. I have to say that the only difference between the North Yorkshire and Derbyshire is that they've got one additional police constable in their team compared to our team. So if that's the best, we are one of the best rural crime teams in terms of resourcing, in terms of capability, in terms of trying to make a difference for the people of Derbyshire. So that's where we are with the rural crime team size and intent in Derbyshire. In terms of the Northwest Hub, I can say to you is that is progressing really well. It's in my estate's plan, the ambition and the commitment that there will be a Northwest Hub somewhere in the Chapel area, on the basis that that is equal distance from the main two urban areas of High Peak, of Buxton and Glossop, amongst others, and that is progressing really well. And I'm hoping to be able to make that announcement in the next few days. We've had very positive conversations and work undergoing at the moment between High Peak Borough Council and the Constabulary and myself as the Police and Crime Commissioner. So it's progressing really well, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to make an announcement in the next few days.
Okay, thank you very much, Hardle. Is that okay for you, Becky? There's nothing you want to come back on?
No, that's great. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't think we've got Jed still, so he's obviously still struggling with his internet connection. So we'll just have to move on. Liz, Ivan, can I ask if we've got any forthcoming events coming that we need to log here?
No, nothing from you. We've only got there is an officers network meeting in a couple of weeks' time.
You're very faint, Liz. I can't hear you very well.
Sorry, is that better?
Yes, thank you.
There's an officers network meeting coming up, so our scrutiny officer Lucy will be attending that and reporting back at the next business meeting and to the panel as necessary. But other than that, no forthcoming events from my point of view.
Okay, thank you very much, Liz. Okay, in that case, we move on to the final item, which is the date of the next meeting, which is the 24th of June 2021. Perhaps at this point, could I also put out a couple of thanks? I know, obviously, with the elections coming on, as a panel, we may not be in the format that we are now in future meetings. So can I personally thank everybody for your help, support and contributions to the panel during the last year. I think we've made some amazing progress, and I'd just like to thank you all at this point, and also to thank Hardiel and his team for working, as he said, collaboratively with us as we move forward. Councillor Pegg, did you want to say something at this point?
Yes, please, Chair. Can I just, when you're on the thanks, can I just thank you as well for doing a wonderful job of chairing the meeting over this last 12 months. It's been a pleasure to actually attend the board meetings and be able to have proper conversations and debates about things. I really do appreciate that. It's been, I think you've been a lesson to some of us councillors on how to chair meetings, and I just want to thank you for that very much indeed. Take care.
Thank you, Paul. That's very kind of you to say so. Mick, did you want to say something as well?
Yes, Vicky. It's just to back Paul, what Paul's just said. You know, I've only been on this panel a couple of years, and I felt more confident as time goes on. It's a very good panel from members from all parties. It's never been party political on here. Everybody's worked together for the sake of the panel and the Crime and Police Commissioner. And again, I'd like to thank you, Vicky, for you and Jed for your efforts and your input, and very dedicated in doing your job. Again, I'd like to thank Idle for answering some of my off-the-cuff questions, if I can put it that way. And I'd like to thank the team, such as Ivan and rest of the team, what's been supporting us. So thanks very much, everyone.
Thank you, Mick. Can I just indulge and say one more thank you? I hope I've got this right, but I understand that Councillor John Flood is not. Are you not standing this next time, John? And I'm sorry if I'm talking out of turn here, but if this is the case, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to you, John, because when I first joined the panel, you were amazingly supportive of me as an independent member. You made me feel very, very welcome. You made me understand. You gave me time and helped me to understand how the panel works. So I just wanted to say a personal thank you to you, John, and for everything that you've done to this panel. You've really held us together amazingly well. Thank you. Thanks for those kind words, Chair. And I echo everything that Paul and Mick have said. I think you've actually absolutely transformed this committee. And this is certainly the way forward. I think you've shown us the way. Just to clarify, yes, I'm standing down as a county councillor. I'm getting rather old now, so I decided, for reasons of age, no other problems at all, just reasons for age, I'm going to sort of wind down. I will still be, however, a member of Erewash Borough Council, and I am on this panel from Erewash Borough Council. So hopefully, it's not entirely in my hands, but hopefully that will continue. So I look forward to at least another term or whatever serving on this committee. Thank you, John, for the clarification. My mistake. I'd got confused at that, but thank you very much. Okay, is there any other questions, any other business anybody else wants? Otherwise, I'll say thank you very much, everybody, for another good meeting, for all of your contributions, and hopefully see some of you, if not all of you, at the next meeting on the 24th of June. Otherwise, thank you very much and take care.